God's chosen one. Pay attention, or you will regret every breath you take. Do not look away. A quiet but powerful moment is unfolding around your life right now, and every word you hear carries a weight that cannot be ignored or treated lightly. The presence of God is drawing near with a tender yet urgent whisper, calling your heart to remain attentive, because what is being revealed in this moment carries the power to change the direction of your entire life. This is not a random reflection or a passing thought drifting through the air without purpose. It is a deeply personal moment where heaven reaches gently toward your soul, inviting you to slow down and listen carefully so that you do not miss the quiet movement of grace unfolding around you. Type Amen if you believe. Many people walk through their days surrounded by noise, distractions, and endless worries that pull their attention in 100 different directions at once. In the middle of that restless noise, the voice of God often arrives softly rather than loudly, speaking through peace, warmth, and quiet conviction inside the heart. Those who pause long enough to recognize that gentle voice often discover something beautiful waiting on the other side of their attention. Those who rush past it sometimes realize later that they walked away from a moment that carried the seeds of healing, restoration, and unexpected blessing. If your heart feels even the smallest touch of peace while listening to these words, take a gentle moment to support this video by pressing like, so that this light of hope continues reaching other hearts who are quietly searching for encouragement and spiritual comfort. The truth is that God's chosen ones often stand at the edge of something greater without realizing how close they truly are to a breakthrough. Life has a way of covering spiritual moments with ordinary circumstances, so that only those who remain attentive can recognize what God is quietly doing behind the scenes. The chosen ones are not perfect people living without struggle or hardship. They are people whose hearts continue to turn toward God even when life becomes confusing, heavy, or uncertain. Every chosen one carries a story filled with moments where faith felt fragile and hope felt difficult to hold. There were days when the path forward appeared hidden behind clouds of doubt and disappointment. Yet through all of those moments, something gentle but persistent continued whispering inside their hearts. That whisper reminded them that God had not forgotten their name, their tears, or the silent prayers spoken in lonely moments. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. God sees every step taken in faith, even when that step feels small, slow, or unnoticed by the world. The heart that continues trusting God while facing storms carries a quiet strength that heaven deeply honors. Those storms were never meaningless obstacles placed randomly along your path. They were moments that shaped your spirit, deepened your compassion, and strengthened your ability to recognize the voice of God in ways that others may struggle to hear. There is something beautiful about the way God prepares the hearts of His chosen ones. Preparation rarely arrives through comfort alone. It often arrives through patience, reflection, and moments where faith must stand quietly without visible proof. During those seasons, many people feel as if nothing is happening, yet heaven is gently shaping the soul in ways that cannot be seen immediately. God understands every chapter of your story, including the parts that felt painful, unfair, or confusing. None of those moments were wasted or forgotten. Each tear carried meaning, and each silent prayer rose gently toward heaven where it was received with care and compassion. The love of God does not overlook suffering. It steps quietly into those moments, bringing strength when your own strength feels too weak to carry the weight alone. Many people imagine that God's chosen ones live lives filled with constant clarity and confidence. The truth often looks very different. Chosen ones experience moments of uncertainty just like everyone else, yet something inside them continues reaching for God even when answers remain hidden. That reaching, that quiet persistence of faith, becomes the doorway through which God begins revealing new light. There are moments when heaven gently taps on the heart, asking for attention not because punishment waits ahead, but because blessing is drawing closer than expected. God never calls his children to attention in order to shame them. He calls them because something precious is about to unfold, and he desires their hearts to be present enough to receive it fully. When God asks you to pay attention, it is often because a shift is quietly beginning within your life. That shift may arrive through new understanding, renewed peace, unexpected kindness, or the sudden lifting of burdens that once felt permanent. The transformation rarely announces itself loudly at first. It begins quietly, like the soft glow of morning light slowly touching the horizon. The chosen ones are those who learn to notice that first light. They learn to recognize that God's movements often begin gently before they grow brighter and clearer. A heart that remains attentive during those quiet beginnings will witness the unfolding of something far more beautiful than anything imagined during seasons of waiting. God knows the depth of your hopes, even when you struggle to express them with words. He knows the silent desires you carry in the deepest places of your heart. Those desires were not planted inside you by accident. Many of them were placed there by God himself, forming a quiet vision of the goodness that he intends to bring into your life in the right time. Waiting can feel long when the heart longs deeply for change, healing, or restoration. Yet waiting with faith often prepares the soul to receive blessings with greater gratitude and wisdom. The chosen ones discover that patience becomes a sacred space where trust grows stronger and hope becomes rooted more deeply than before. A newly revealed 7-second brainwave method, backed by neuroscience and once hidden in classified documents, is helping thousands activate their brain's wealth setting. People refer to it as the money magnet sound because of how quickly it appears to attract abundance. Click the link in the description and comments below to awaken the prosperity already within you. Every breath you take is a reminder that your life continues moving forward under the watchful care of God. Even when the path ahead appears uncertain, the love of God remains steady and unwavering. His presence does not disappear during difficult seasons. It often draws even closer, offering quiet strength for each step that lies ahead. The invitation to pay attention is not a warning meant to create fear. It is a loving call, meant to awaken awareness. God desires your heart to remain open, calm, and attentive, so that you can recognize the blessings, lessons, and gentle miracles that are quietly surrounding your life even now. Some of those miracles appear small at first glance: a moment of unexpected peace during a stressful day, a kind word that arrives exactly when your spirit needed encouragement, a sudden clarity that replaces confusion which lingered for a long time. These moments carry the fingerprints of God's quiet involvement in the daily rhythm of your life. When the heart learns to notice those small miracles, it begins to recognize that God has never been distant. His presence has been gently woven into every chapter of your story. Even during seasons that felt dark or lonely, he remained close, guiding your steps with patience and love that never fades. The life of a chosen one is not defined by perfection but by connection. It is a life where the heart continues returning to God again and again, trusting that his guidance will always lead toward healing, peace, and deeper understanding. That connection grows stronger each time you pause to listen and allow his presence to fill your thoughts with hope. Right now, in this quiet moment of reflection, something gentle is unfolding around your life. The presence of God is reminding you that your story still holds chapters filled with light, renewal, and purpose. The path ahead carries opportunities for growth, compassion, and blessings that may arrive in ways you never expected. When God asks His chosen ones to remain attentive, He is inviting them into a deeper awareness of His presence in everyday life. Many people imagine spiritual moments as something distant or rare, yet God often reveals Himself through simple experiences that carry warmth, peace, and quiet reassurance. A gentle feeling of calm during a stressful day can become a reminder that God is near. A moment of clarity that replaces confusion can become a sign that heaven is guiding the next step forward. Chosen ones sometimes struggle to recognize their own journey because they are surrounded by voices that measure life only through visible success or quick results. God does not measure your life that way. His view reaches far beyond temporary circumstances and temporary struggles. He sees the patience you showed during moments when quitting would have been easier. He sees the kindness you offered even when your own heart was hurting. There were seasons when your faith felt fragile and your strength felt limited. You continued moving forward anyway, carrying hope quietly even when others could not see it. Those moments mattered deeply to God because they revealed the sincerity of your heart. A heart that continues trusting during uncertainty becomes a place where God can gently plant greater purpose. Type 2323 if you agree. Life sometimes places chosen ones in situations where they feel unseen or misunderstood by the people around them. That experience can create loneliness, yet it also becomes part of the spiritual shaping that prepares them for deeper compassion and wisdom. When someone has walked through hardship with faith still alive inside them, their spirit becomes capable of bringing comfort to others who are struggling through similar darkness. God often prepares His chosen ones quietly before revealing the beautiful purpose that has been growing beneath the surface of their lives. Preparation rarely feels exciting while it is happening. It often feels like waiting, patience, and steady perseverance through ordinary days that appear unchanged. Yet within those ordinary days, God is strengthening character, deepening understanding, and building spiritual endurance that will become valuable later. Every tear you shed in silent prayer carried meaning that heaven did not overlook or dismiss. God received each moment of vulnerability with compassion, holding your struggles with gentleness rather than judgment. The world sometimes encourages people to hide their pain and pretend everything is strong and perfect. God welcomes honesty because He knows that healing often begins when the heart becomes open and sincere. The chosen ones are not called because they are flawless or spiritually superior. They are called because their hearts remain open to God's guidance even while they are still learning and growing. That openness becomes the doorway through which divine grace flows into everyday life. A humble heart that listens carefully becomes a place where God's love can move freely and powerfully. Paying attention to God does not mean living with fear that something terrible might happen if you miss a moment. It means living with awareness that beautiful blessings can appear quietly at any time. When your heart stays attentive, you begin to recognize the gentle ways God is already moving around you. Small moments of kindness begin to feel like messages of encouragement sent from heaven. Sometimes the greatest blessings arrive disguised as lessons that seem difficult at first. A delay that once felt frustrating may later reveal itself as protection from something harmful. A closed door that once felt painful may later show itself as guidance toward a better path that was waiting nearby. God's wisdom often works beyond the limits of what we can understand in the moment. The chosen ones learn slowly that every chapter of life carries purpose, even when that purpose is not immediately visible. Faith becomes the quiet strength that allows them to continue walking forward while trusting that God's love remains active behind every scene of their story. When faith grows deep enough, Even uncertainty begins to feel less frightening. There is something peaceful about knowing that your life is held within God's care. The world often pushes people to control every outcome and predict every result. Faith invites the heart into a different rhythm where trust replaces constant anxiety. Instead of fearing the unknown, the chosen ones begin to rest in the understanding that God is guiding their steps one moment at a time. Type yes to affirm. A 7-second brainwave practice, once reserved for select circles and concealed in classified files, has now been made public, and many describe it as the 30-second miracle. Experts say it awakens a dormant brain center connected to wealth and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it is taken down from the internet again. As your awareness grows stronger, you may begin noticing how many times God has already protected you in ways that were invisible during the moment. Situations that could have harmed you somehow passed by quietly. Opportunities appeared exactly when your heart needed encouragement to keep believing that your life still carried meaning and purpose. God's protection does not always appear dramatic or obvious. Often it appears through subtle guidance that steers your decisions away from paths that would have led toward unnecessary pain. A sudden hesitation before making a choice might have been the quiet wisdom of God slowing your steps. A feeling of peace about a new direction might have been His gentle approval guiding you forward. The chosen ones gradually learn to recognize those subtle movements of the Spirit. That recognition grows stronger each time they pause long enough to listen instead of rushing ahead with fear or impatience. The world moves quickly and often rewards hurried decisions. Faith encourages patience because God's direction rarely requires panic or desperation. God's love surrounds you with a patience that does not fade even when you feel uncertain about your next step. He understands every detail of your journey, including the parts where you felt lost or discouraged. Instead of condemning those moments, God gently uses them to deepen your understanding of grace and compassion. There is beauty in the way God transforms broken seasons into pathways of healing. Painful experiences often awaken empathy that allows you to comfort others with sincerity and understanding. When someone who has suffered extends kindness to another struggling heart, that kindness carries a depth that cannot be manufactured or imitated. The chosen ones eventually realize that their life story is becoming a quiet testimony of resilience, shaped by faith. Every difficult chapter becomes part of a larger picture that reveals God's steady presence throughout the entire journey. Even the moments that once seemed meaningless begin to show their hidden purpose when viewed through the lens of time and spiritual growth. Your life continues unfolding under the gentle guidance of a God who sees far beyond the limits of human understanding. While you may only see the next step directly in front of you, God already sees the beautiful landscape that lies further ahead. His guidance never rushes you into fear. It gently leads you forward through trust, patience, and quiet courage. The invitation to pay attention remains an expression of love rather than a threat of regret. God desires your awareness because awareness allows you to recognize how deeply you are cared for. When your heart becomes attentive to His presence, even ordinary moments begin to shine with meaning and quiet hope. Each new day offers another opportunity to walk closely with God while discovering the peace that grows through faith. The chosen ones are not those who live without struggle. They are those who continue choosing trust, even after walking through storms that once felt overwhelming. Their strength grows from the knowledge that God never abandons the hearts that continue reaching toward Him with sincerity. Sometimes the chosen ones carry memories of long nights filled with silent prayers and thoughts that nobody else ever heard. Those moments were not empty or forgotten by heaven. God listened to every whispered word and every quiet cry of the heart with compassion that never fades. While the world may overlook those hidden struggles, God holds them gently and transforms them into strength that will later guide others toward hope. The spiritual journey of a chosen one often includes seasons where it feels as though life is standing still. During those seasons, the heart may wonder whether anything meaningful is truly happening. Yet beneath the surface, something sacred continues growing quietly. Faith deepens, patience strengthens, and the spirit learns to trust God in ways that were not possible before. God's work within a person's life rarely happens in sudden bursts of visible change. It usually grows slowly, like a tree that develops strong roots before it ever stretches its branches toward the sky. The deeper the roots grow, the stronger the tree becomes when storms arrive. In the same way, the deeper your faith grows, the more peacefully you will stand when life tries to shake your confidence. Type 2020 to claim miracles. Many chosen ones have walked through storms that felt overwhelming and frightening at the time. Those storms carried lessons that shaped the heart with wisdom and compassion that cannot be learned through comfort alone. Every difficult moment became a quiet teacher, reminding you that God's presence remains steady even when circumstances change unexpectedly. When Jesus walked among people during his time on earth, he often spoke with gentleness and compassion toward those who felt weary and burdened by life. His presence carried peace that reached deeply into wounded hearts. The same spirit of compassion continues flowing through the love of God today. That love has not faded or weakened with time. Jesus showed that true strength is not found in pride or power, but in humility, kindness, and unwavering trust in God. The chosen ones slowly learn this same truth as their journey unfolds. Life begins to feel lighter when the heart rests in God's care rather than trying to control every outcome alone. There may have been moments when you wondered why certain doors closed while others remained locked for what felt like a long time. At first, those moments might have felt disappointing or confusing. Later, clarity often begins to appear. The path that once felt blocked may have been protecting you from situations that would have caused deeper pain or distraction from your true purpose. God does not guide his children through random or careless events. His wisdom quietly directs the timing of many things that unfold in life. Even delays can become expressions of love when they prevent harm or prepare the heart for something better that is waiting ahead. Chosen ones eventually discover that God's plan rarely follows the rushed expectations of the world. His timing moves with patience and perfect understanding. What feels slow to human eyes often becomes beautiful when viewed through the wider perspective of faith. A rare 7-second morning ritual, previously hidden in classified documents, is re-emerging, and people are already sharing accounts of swift financial advancement. It takes almost no time, yet it triggers a dormant wealth switch in the brain that most people never use. Click the link in the description and comments now to access it before it vanishes. There is a quiet peace that begins to grow when the heart finally accepts that God sees every detail of the journey. You may not always understand why certain chapters happen the way they do, but faith gently reminds you that the story is still unfolding. God continues writing new pages filled with opportunities for healing, joy, and spiritual growth. Type 1111 if you trust in God. The life of a chosen one becomes a testimony of perseverance shaped by trust in God's goodness. Even when mistakes happen or the path feels uncertain, God's grace remains ready to guide the heart back toward peace. His love does not disappear when someone struggles. Instead, it reaches even closer to restore strength and clarity. One of the most beautiful truths about God's love is that it meets people exactly where they are. There is no requirement to become perfect before approaching Him. The journey toward healing and renewal begins simply by turning the heart toward God with sincerity and hope. Jesus showed through His life that compassion and forgiveness are powerful forces that can transform even the most broken situations. When a person embraces those qualities, the heart becomes lighter and more peaceful. Bitterness begins to fade, and space opens for joy and healing to return. Many chosen ones carry wounds from experiences where they were misunderstood, rejected, or treated unfairly by others. Those wounds can feel heavy when carried alone. God understands every part of that pain and offers comfort that slowly restores the heart. His presence becomes a safe place where healing begins quietly. Over time, the scars of past pain often become reminders of how faithfully God carried you through moments that once seemed impossible to survive. Those scars transform into symbols of resilience and faith. They reveal that God's love remained active even during the darkest chapters. There is a powerful transformation that happens when someone begins seeing their past, not as a collection of failures, but as a journey guided by grace. Each experience becomes part of a story where God continued shaping the heart toward greater compassion and wisdom. The chosen ones often feel a deep desire to bring light and encouragement into the lives of others. That desire grows naturally from the understanding that many people around them are also carrying silent struggles. A kind word, a listening ear, or a gentle reminder of hope can become a powerful blessing for someone who feels alone. God often uses ordinary moments to create extraordinary impact through the lives of those who trust Him. A simple act of kindness can become the spark that helps another person rediscover hope. When love flows through small actions, it begins spreading quietly through the world. The beauty of walking with God is that every day becomes an opportunity to grow in faith, compassion, and understanding. Life begins to feel less like a series of random events and more like a meaningful journey guided by divine care. Even now, as your story continues unfolding, God is still gently guiding your steps forward. The chosen ones are not people who have everything figured out. They are people who continue trusting that God's love will lead them through every season. Your life still carries moments of grace waiting to appear in ways that may surprise you. Blessings sometimes arrive quietly through renewed strength, peaceful understanding, or unexpected kindness that warms the heart. Each of these moments becomes a reminder that God remains close. The invitation to pay attention remains a call to awareness rather than fear. God wants His chosen ones to recognize the beauty of His presence surrounding their lives every day. When the heart becomes attentive to that presence, even ordinary moments begin to shine with spiritual meaning. There were times when you felt as if your efforts to remain faithful were invisible to the world around you. You tried to stay kind when others misunderstood you, and you continued believing in goodness even when life appeared unfair or discouraging. Those quiet choices mattered more than you realized, because God sees the sincerity hidden inside every small act of faith. Nothing done with a humble and loving heart is ever ignored by heaven. The chosen ones often experience moments where their faith is tested by uncertainty and waiting. Waiting can feel uncomfortable because the human heart naturally longs for clear answers and immediate change. Yet within those waiting seasons, God begins doing something powerful inside the soul. Patience grows stronger, trust becomes deeper, and the heart learns to rest peacefully even while the future remains unseen. Many people imagine faith as a simple belief that everything will always be easy or comfortable. The truth of faith is far richer and more beautiful than that. Faith becomes the quiet strength that allows a person to keep moving forward while trusting that God's love remains present in every circumstance. It becomes the gentle assurance that even when storms appear, the journey is still guided by divine care. Type 1919 to receive miracles. Sometimes the storms of life arrive unexpectedly, bringing moments of fear, sadness, or confusion that seem overwhelming at first. During those storms, the chosen ones often discover something remarkable about the presence of God. Instead of abandoning them, His love draws even closer, offering comfort that steadies the heart when everything else feels uncertain. That quiet comfort becomes a reminder that no storm is stronger than the care of God. Jesus showed through His life that compassion and faith have the power to transform even the most difficult circumstances. He reached out to those who felt forgotten, reminding them that their lives carried deep value in the eyes of God. The same message continues echoing through time, reminding every chosen heart that they are never alone on their journey. When the chosen ones look back over their lives, they often begin to recognize how many times God protected them from paths that would have caused greater harm. Situations that seemed disappointing at the time later revealed themselves as moments of guidance. Closed doors quietly redirected them toward better opportunities that were waiting beyond their view. God's wisdom reaches far beyond the limits of human understanding. What appears confusing today may later reveal itself as part of a beautiful design that was always unfolding behind the scenes. Faith grows stronger when the heart begins trusting that God sees the entire picture, even when we can only see a small portion of it. What if abundance had always been influenced by a hidden brain signal, buried in classified records, and never fully disclosed to the public? This frequency is now creating new pathways, attracting opportunities, and reshaping lives faster than expected. Thousands are already using it to draw wealth like never before. Click the link in the description and comments now, and activate the money-attracting brainwave today. There is a gentle peace that begins to settle into the heart when this truth becomes clear. Instead of fearing every uncertain moment, the chosen ones begin to walk with calm trust that God is guiding their steps carefully. Each day becomes less about controlling every outcome and more about walking forward with confidence in divine love. Many chosen ones have experienced moments when they felt unworthy of the blessings they hoped for. Past mistakes or painful memories sometimes whisper doubts that try to convince the heart that it is too broken to receive God's goodness. Yet the love of God does not operate according to human judgments or past failures. God's grace sees beyond the mistakes of yesterday and focuses on the transformation that is possible today. The heart that turns toward Him with sincerity is always welcomed with compassion. Healing begins quietly when someone accepts that God's love is greater than their regrets or fears. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. The life of a chosen one gradually becomes a journey of healing, restoration, and renewed purpose. Old wounds begin to lose their power when the heart allows God's peace to replace bitterness and sorrow. Forgiveness slowly becomes possible, not because pain never existed, but because love becomes stronger than the memory of hurt. Jesus taught through His actions that kindness has the power to reach places where anger and judgment never could. When someone chooses kindness even after experiencing hardship, that kindness carries extraordinary strength. It becomes a light that can guide others who feel lost or discouraged. God often uses the experiences of chosen ones to bring hope into the lives of others. The compassion you carry today may one day become the comfort that helps another person find peace during their own difficult season. In this way, your journey becomes more than a personal story. It becomes part of a larger movement of love spreading quietly through the world. The chosen ones sometimes feel different from the people around them because their hearts long for deeper meaning and spiritual connection. While others may focus only on temporary achievements, the chosen ones feel drawn towards something greater. They desire lives filled with compassion, purpose, and faith that reflects the love of God. That desire is not an accident or a strange coincidence. It is a sign that God has placed a calling inside your spirit. The calling does not require fame or recognition from the world.